Greetings. This is the Murder Party DVD commentary. I'm Jeremy Saunier, writer-director.
This is Chris Sharp, an actor and a producer.
My name is Macon, and I played Macon, and I was the Teamster captain.
True enough. So here we are. Opening shot of the movie, one of the very few shots that went off without a hitch, exactly as envisioned. Cool font, thanks to Charlotte Strick, our designer.
That was at J.J. Doherty's house. I believe she's currently hiding in the American Embassy in Jamaica to escape from the hurricane.
That's right. Now, that pumpkin shot was shot in May of 2006. The rest of this entire opening sequence was shot in October 2005, before page 1 of the script was written. Chris Sharp and myself ran around Brooklyn just documenting facades of houses. Here we go. Some Halloween decorated pastries and cupcakes and whatnot.
Park Slope, Brooklyn is surprisingly good for Halloween.
Good parade.
That's right.
A lot
And
of kids.
It was good times just to have this in the can, because it meant we were making a movie. We pulled the trigger and started shooting with no idea what was in store, but it really helped light an ass under us. Light an ass. Light a fire under our ass.
Fire.
Sorry, the Brooke and Will Blair credit. They lobbied for that because they're two bros, Macon's younger brothers, and they originally had this credit, which would be my favorite. And so when they opted for another one, I stole that credit.
It fits little codependent weirdos that they would have too.
There's a lot of debate as to who got which title cards for the opening credits, I remember.
That's right. So here we are. This is the May 06 shoot. This is one of the shots that just, I got really gassed up for.
Miller's Crossing, Boner City, awesome.
Really sized up for this one. Dave Ellis on Steadicam, he really came through for us. He was one of the few true professionals that was hired to help us realize the vision. And this went a lot further than I had hoped. It was awesome.
Was that just a leaf blower?
Yeah, Christina Barth, the production designer, was just off camera, wielding the leaf blower, and Chris Sharp was waiting. I remember we had very little time to shoot this sequence.
Yeah,
Key character moment.
We were losing daylight pretty quickly at this point.
His what pills is he taking, Chris?
I think Kate Berry did the research. I think it's for anxiety and social dysfunction generally, but we don't ever really see the name of the pill, I think, in the movie. But she did proper research for it.
He's lonesome and medicated. That's all we need to know.
Exactly. And there was a close-up insert later on, but you can't quite read it, and I think that worked out for the better.
Those pedophile glasses I'm wearing are actually my first pair of glasses. I wore them in 7th grade to see the math board. That was really the beginning of the end for my eyes.
The John Mark Carr glasses, I believe.
Yeah.
So this is the scene where we really push the limits of tedium here. It's to set up the main character and his pathetic life.
I really worked at it to get that proper pill
The spin,
roll there.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's like a weeble wobble.
We had to have the candy corns.
Largely because they don't have any brand name attached to them, so we can just throw them in a bowl and eat without caring.
Brand.
And how fucking hard was that to get candy corns in May? And pumpkins.
Actually, those candy corns, I don't know if those are the ones, but I bought them at a rest stop, like in Maryland somewhere. But those might have been someone else's candy corns.
I'm sure those were them.
Dig
but-
his movies.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Scarewolf, Zombie versus Unicorn's Horn, and Xanthocroid.
Xanthocroid was actually a real movie we made, I think, in the 9th or 10th grade. It's pretty gross.
And Zombie versus Unicorn's Horn we're going to make on next Wednesday.
That's right. Here comes Sir Lancelot.
A.K.A. Puff Snooty.
That's right. Puff Snooty held it down, although it was quite hard to get the cat. Puff Snooty's a pro, But to get a cat,
the highest paid per day actor in the movie by ×3.
that's right. And to get a cat to just sit there deadpan is harder than you might think.
So it was a lot of Benadryl that you fed him, I think.
ASPCA.
Children's Dimetapp.
That sounds legit, Chris. What have you been doing?
I told you I'm wearing the pedophile glasses.
It rolled off the tongue way too quick. So when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. That's the moral here.
This is the Texas Sapphires you'll hear in a bit, a great band from Austin, Texas.
That's right. The whole soundtrack actually, if you can't really tell the difference between our voices, it doesn't matter. We're all part of the same
We're interchangeable.
brain hive. But Macon Blair, who's sitting here, just wrangled up an awesome collection of music out of nowhere. How did you go about doing that, Macon?
Well, the Sapphires, I met Rebecca, the singer, in Steve Collins' movie Gretchen a couple of years ago, and I just saw them play a couple of times and stayed in touch, and they were very cool about letting us use their music.
I always felt bad that we truncated that song so much just because it's a really good song. I felt like it deserves a greater play.
Oh, and just so you know, this is after the pumpkin bread sequence. You're not supposed to use your standard Halloween-type pumpkins.
No.
No.
But we took that liberty just to make it work with the story.
That's like when people run away from a fireball in action movies. Like, it's not real, but it's acceptable.
Oh, I have bad memories of this just because...
This was a rush.
Yeah, this was shot under duress, like 3/4 of the film. But came off pretty well. The montage worked, and we went without music and just used sound effects. The guys who helped us with Sound Lounge in New York were just amazing. They, I think we're going to get a full 5.1 mix on the DVD, so I think their work will finally have an avenue of just like getting out to the public and people can appreciate it.
5.1 that's good. Is that a good one?
5.1 is great.
Can we get the 7.2?
Not yet.
I want that one.
I guess we really should have rehearsed this, but there's no time. We're actually sitting here. We're still delivering the movie to the distributor, and apologize.
Talk about under duress. Where are the extras?
Yeah, just came from running a lot of errands. But where are we now? Okay, so that was the scene's a little boring.
Yeah.
But it's
it
endearing.
Sets it up for what happens, yeah. This
Yeah.
is a slice of life, Brooklyn life, alone in Lehigh.
But a hell of a suit you have, Chris.
Yeah.
Where'd that come from?
Originally we were going to do something else, but then decided that we'd go for the cardboard suit of armor. And I actually wore a suit of armor reminiscent of this one to a Halloween party, I guess, probably about 8 years ago. So it's just...
Damon Lindsay,
Yeah.
tech guy extraordinaire.
He's another gentleman that we knew from our day job.
Yep.
That we recruited for the flick.
And right here, if I could, on your right in the nun costume is Drew Gorin, who unfortunately passed away about 6 or so months after this was shot. He was a great guy and a good dad. So that's where we get to see him.
That's right. And it's just great. I mean, Drew and everyone that showed up that night just represent what filmmakers like ourselves need to get this shit done.
This actually is a mix between real Halloween shooting at night on Bedford Avenue in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, and then kind of shooting with our own wrangled extras who showed up in costume to do us a big favor. So.
And this is the kind of de facto murder party theme song, National Lust by Drunk Horse. It's turned up in trailers and at the end of documentaries, making of docs, and it's catchy.
Great band.
Everybody loves it.
Right, San Francisco?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, here we go. This is when the score really kicks in. This is by Brooke Blair and Will Blair, Macon's Little Bros. This is their very first score, and
Should
pretty
not
much
be their
kicks
last.
ass.
Yeah.
And I remember we went through this a lot. This was basically a rip-off of Nightmare on Elm Street.
We ripped off a lot of stuff for the score, right?
Oh, yeah.
We paid tribute to a lot of scores.
But of course. random biker, kind of.
Did we get a release for that guy's bike?
Yes.
Yes, of course, Macon. But yeah, they just rode through our shot, and it was pretty awesome. And a spooky element. This is all shot in the Williamsburg, Brooklyn shore, with I think we had one light, and the rest was all car lights.
Yep.
What was that sound that terrified
That
Chris?
was an
just then?
alligator, right?
Yes, it was an alligator from the sound library.
It's supposed to be a dragon, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
That's the knight and his dragon.
That makes sense, but I like the old New York myth of people flushing alligators down the
Yeah.
toilet and growing to horrifying sizes.
Plus, I couldn't find an actual dragon sample.
I
in the
love this
library.
shot.
Dave Ellis was our crane operator, but really it was just him and a Steadicam on the lift gate of our grip truck. That's how you do it low budget. I didn't even know. I was like, how are we going to do this? And one of our grips was like, just have him sit on a lift gate and pretend like he's a crane. And it worked like a charm. Yes, the other thing is, like, this is our first feature as an ensemble. We had experts helping us, but we also recruited a lot of talent that had no experience. In fact, most of the above the line people here, this is their first feature.
Also, right there, we just had a transition from the second part of the shoot back to the first part of the shoot. We shot this in 2 blocks, the first being in February of 06, second in April and May of 06.
I didn't notice 3 months passed there. I don't know about
No, now we're in February. It's very cold, but you can't tell.
you. And finally, we enter the scene of the murder party. We get to introduce all the characters.
There's
This is
Macon
fun.
Blair.
That's Macon, that's right. You know, Chris. Paul Goldblatt, Sky Sonier, William Lacey.
Stacy Rock.
Rock.
Stacy was really an amazing find for us.
She was not the first choice, but turned out to be the best and only choice for that role.
Yeah, I'd spent months trying to persuade another actor to play that part, but it was pilot season in New York, and she was up and coming, and she quite honestly had better things to do. But she's an amazing actor. But yeah, Stacy Rock, we found her through Macon, and she ended up being, yeah, exactly. I couldn't think of another person in that role.
And just to backtrack, as he was walking in, we were listening to the Rob Roz from Richmond, Virginia.
That's right. This is an amazing scene. This is where the physical comedy kicks in. It's just like, I remember we started the film. It was just really stressful, and everything was just about finishing the paint jobs on the set, getting costumes stitched up and ready to go. And then by this point, we were starting to roll, and with that burning invitation scene, I just kind of started giggling to myself behind the camera.
Just because Paul believes it. It's so
Yeah.
funny. My magic burning invitation.
This is a gag we worked hard and long to get on film. Just casting that shadow and whatnot.
I remember when we were shooting this, I felt like this went on for 20 minutes, and when you see it and it's only like a couple of seconds, but that's just how out of shape I am. I was winded after one take of this.
In this scene, I always laugh at Sky there in the background, how she just kind of holds the bread and stands awkwardly back and forth. I think is always
right.
pretty funny.
You only did pretty badass Macon.
Oh, shucks.
I remember we tried to reshoot that because I had some like problem with the camera angle, but we had to use that first take because it was just by far the most sinister.
This is pretty much the position I'm in for almost the rest of the movie. I think the probably the only reason I got the part is because they could just gag me and tie me up and be done with me.
Well, for the second act, you got quite a bit of action in the third act. Lots of running and physical comedy.
That's true. Yep. And this is where we really start the ensemble coverage, which flipped me out. I'm not used to doing that, and poor Chris had to wait to the end of the line because I wanted to get all of the dialogue covered, which is every other character. And by the time we got to Chris, it was like take 30, and he was sitting there in a freezing warehouse, and I'd bark orders at him, mostly eye acting.
Yeah,
And
that's really my forte is eye acting. I'm hoping for some hot eye model jobs.
Yeah. But this is the early part of the film where we have a little more static camera, a little more formal composition, and as the schedule went forward and became more compressed,
Put it on Steadicam. Put it on Steadicam.
threw it out the window and handed over to Dave Ellis, our Steadicam operator, and just tried to archive people talking. This is still when we had shot selection and whatnot. Oh, but you do. Yes, Sky is also my wife, and she's an amazing wardrobe stylist, producer, coordinator, sandbag conveyor, whatever you want.
Very shortly to be your baby's mama.
That's right. But we had to off her real quick because she's invaluable on set, and so I wanted to give her a part, and so it was
She's
the first
nice
to die.
one. Yeah, she's the good guy.
That's right.
Right
Oh well.
there is when, if people are not sure, if they're kind of on the fence about whether or not they're into this movie or not, this usually pushes them one way or the other. Oh.
I think in original discussions we wanted this to kind of be like the death scene of Jude Law and Talented Mr. Ripley. It's
Yes.
not, it's not the same thing, but that weird awkward head wound with
Yes.
the blood.
Yeah, where the person who's got the wound isn't even aware of it.
Yeah.
And you're right, I liked our head wound better than the one in Apocalypto, Chris. I saw that the other day, and I agree.
I was not impressed with it.
So here we are to Steadicam. This is awesome. I love you guys. The ensemble here was just amazing. I started to get really excited when we shot this.
And once again, another shout out to Dave Ellis, the Steadicam guy, like just really holding these shots together very nicely.
And that's, I think, 6 shout-outs, so that's our quota for now.
Yeah, Dave Ellis, you're dead to me now.
But this is later on. I mean, when we first started doing these takes, they were rough, and we were shooting video. So, like most knuckleheads shooting video, I just went it out. Let's roll on it. Let's roll on it.
I really like that sound hit for the acid. This was my birthday. It was a good
Happy
birthday.
Chris! Cold water.
And this, Mick, and I'm not sure if you're aware, but this really went over the crew. This performance here,
Oh yeah.
and just as a finale to that awesome Steadicam shot,
Cool.
it was just hilarious and believable too.
For the science nerds.
Oh yeah, Tim Barnett, our scientific consultant. I said I want an acid that's not too harmful, and he gave me a list of 3, and I chose vinegar.
Vinegar's the funniest.
Yeah, and he actually had to sneak out those acid bottles. He did wash them out, of course, but he had to sneak them out from his place of employment because they have a strict
Should we say stuff like that?
hazard
Don't
control
steal the
policy.
acid clause.
That's totally fine. Now that we're sitting here, we're totally wealthy. I don't give a shit if he gets fired.
This pile of money that I'm sitting on is uncomfortable. I have
I
to.
know.
We'll just buy his company and put him in charge.
Well, I'll just give Tim a handful a week. Dildos. There we go.
We really.
Was that the first dildo?
I don't know.
don't
I think so.
We should have
We
been running
really
a counter.
embraced dildo in this movie. We thought douche had been overused, and so we wanted to bring back the dildo.
Yeah,
I think we might have brought dildo back, and then by the end of it, killed it. Even
Yeah.
we simultaneously made it played out.
It's a great word. I remember
Dildo.
dildo is ingrained in my brain because during the 976 years when we were growing up in the 80s, and you could call dirty hotlines, it was like still a novelty. It must have been some rule for some state, but they couldn't say cock or dick or anything.
They could say
So
dildo.
I'd call the dirty hotline, and they kept saying like, "Oh, I can feel your dildo all over it," and then they would just say nothing but dildo, and I think the funniest thing ever. It's like, well, I'm not turned on at all. It's not worth $8 a minute.
I used the word dildo around my house at one point. My mom said, "Where did you learn that word?" And I said, "Sandy Barnett said it to me. I didn't know what it meant."
Sandy
You did.
Barnett.
We should point out Sky is a real trooper in this scene. That is indeed her wrapped up in the plastic and put in that thing smelled absolutely horrendous. So
Yeah.
we left her in there for a little while.
She
I mean-
was risking suffocation. Yeah.
I freaked out as soon as that freezer door closed.
Get her out! Get her out! Get her
Yeah.
out!
It was one of my few total freakouts. Really embarrassing, but she survived, so all is well. That's a little touch Macon Blair added to that scene. And it gives the much needed punctuation. Here we go. Sandy
Dildo.
fucking Barnett.
His henchman there is Bill Tangradi, who came on very early and was real enthusiastic and helpful with wrangling locations
Yeah,
and
he did a
this
lot.
sort of thing.
That's right.
He's a
Bill
great-
Tangradi got us this warehouse location where we
Yep.
spent the majority of the film in.
He's probably our most prolific actor. He's now out in LA doing it.
Yeah, he left us in the dust. This is another scene that was pretty much exactly how I wanted it. I forgot to add a line. We even did an ADR session.
Of
and
what?
Here, I'll ADR it right now.
Okay.
Better be good.
Oh, fuck, I forgot it. I think it was, I'm a vampire too, Paul.
Or was it something along the lines of there can be only one or something?
It was, there can be only
I'm
one.
the only vampire here.
I think I wanted to remind people because when Alexander enters, he takes off his plastic fangs, and I thought people might forget he's a vampire too. And I wanted to make sure people knew that he's doing this because basically they wore the same dress to the party,
Right.
and he's making him strip out of it.
Take your dress off, Paul.
I'm not sure if that's really conveyed properly, but I do know that Paul strips here, and that's
There's-
funny.
There's just a weird, like, sexual assault aspect to this whole thing that, I don't know, you love it or hate it. I love it.
Maybe Sandy needs the pedophile glasses.
That would be hilarious.
I actually really like Macon and Lexi in this scene. Just every time it cuts to them, their
Yeah.
faces are. It's just
We're
great.
too weak to do anything about it. We're sorry, Paul. We'd help you if we could, but we can't. Oh, shit.
But, although we do, push the gonzo meter from time to time in this movie, what makes it work is the subtle performances. in this-
Paul, there's nothing subtle about the performance of how much he stuffed that cod piece, though.
That's true enough.
My God, I think there's 18 socks in there.
Yeah, well, I think Paul regrets now stuffing
That's
stuffing
true,
it.
yeah.
It's so full. I think he thought it'd be funnier now if it played just, deflated scrotum style, just pathetic. And Hey, you almost had a line there, Chris. It was like a grunt.
I think in the script they would have written that out. I
Yeah.
think that counts.
Ah, the exteriors.
This dog is Jeremy and Sky's dog,
That's
Samson.
right. That's my buddy Samson.
He's not actually part dingo, though. He does look like it.
Yeah. So this is one of my favorite scenes coming up. Is the pitch scene. Here we go. I'm just gonna let this ride.
We're gonna blah, blah, blah. We're gonna do this and that.
You look good there, buddy.
Yeah. Real
I
good.
believe you. I believe you, Macon Player. But I got a kick out of this. This is one of the assignments. There's basically 2 assignments to the actors, and this is the first. Help me with the pitches, people, and Macon came up with that. And I think it was once again, Macon knows me. I work best with multiple choice. Came about 4 awesome pitches, and that was by far my favorite.
I love how Paul is still standing there in the background, very disapproving, with
Yeah.
his nuts hanging out.
And this is where we got to give a shout out to Mark Baroza, our editor, is with these shots of just everyone in frame and everything had to sync up. He really helped sort through and cut this together, so we were able to keep things like that, like Paul in the background still stripping, because that was maybe half the takes. It's really tough to coordinate all this in temporal continuity, so everything works out and you can just let it ride, and your reverse shots and your
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
cutaways.
What? Temporal? What?
Yeah, it's a Japanese cuisine. You eat
Yeah.
temporal sushi.
Temporal continuity? Damn, you
I
blew my mind just then.
temporal shrimp.
I want temporal shrimp.
I guess they call it shrimp temporal.
Shrimp temporal continuity.
Excelsior.
That's one of the 50 Cent words.
Great word.
It's
I think
almost as good as temporal.
First time I heard that word was Nick Marston, who actually is the man who came up with the idea, kind of, the generalized original concept of having a murder party.
Yeah, I think his joke was like basically a masquerade party or a black tie affair with one guest. And
we'll stab him.
yeah,
Yeah, the slow stabbing. Everyone gets a.
everyone lines up and gets one stab.
Mr. Blair, why don't you take my stab?
Well, that's very gentlemanly of you.
too
I don't mind
kind,
if I.
too kind. Don't mind if I do.
There was an alternate take of that where Bill suggested, making a mask out of his butthole, I think, and that got shot down.
Bill Lacey's not afraid to take it pretty blue, which is good, but sometimes a little scary.
Yeah, I mean, so he brought it too hardcore at times, but that's good. I mean,
May I, with his hardest of hardcores?
No.
Okay.
oh well, I think we deserve, or the people out there deserve to hear the most hardcore.
Bill Lacey suggested that his pitch in that part was going to be, I'm going to cut his dick off and fuck the hole if that didn't make me come already.
Oh, why did you say that,
Yes,
dude? That's
and I
I
horrible.
asked for permission.
And I did not.
I forgot
grant
that
it.
was it. I
Yeah.
thought it was making a mask out of his butthole.
I already said
You
that
already
one,
said
and then I
that
said
one.
the.
Yeah.
Shit.
Well, I apologize to Middle
Well,
America. I'm
if
sorry.
we, if we could
Apologize to your
afford to
mother.
redo this, we'd
I
redo it.
Mom,
But we're
Bill
on
said it.
we're on a shoestring budget, and we're kind of just letting this ride.
Did I blow this whole thing?
Maybe.
We can maybe bleep it out later. But anyways, what's happening? Dildo.
Dildo. There's
Good
another
timing. This was good.
You can hear a
Sandy,
truck backing up in the background there.
what is?
You can hear a truck backing up in
Yes,
the background outside.
that's true.
There's a lot of that sort of thing. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Snuck in.
It's
But,
I'm noticing that with headphones. It's different.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 5.0 mix. Well, so Sandy had to come in basically his first day and recite all these monologues, and he wasn't quite prepared. He had no idea he was like a major character in the movie.
This is my best eye acting right here. Yeah,
That's
That's
good.
good.
that was it.
Bang, bang, bang.
Yeah.
Economy.
I believe before Murder Party, we called Sandy out of retirement, and he was at the time working as a landscaper down in the D.C. area, Washington, D.C., and doing some night shifts at a bar. And I think after the film, I think he's landscaping.
He's
He's
back.
not-
Yeah, he's
He
trimming rose
quit,
bushes.
he quit the bar. We'll give him a call later.
This is Jeremy's favorite part of the movie.
I'll stab him till he dies.
You know
That
what?
is
I can
My
say
favorite line in the movie.
categorically in the theater. This is the scene where Jeremy's laughing, and no one else in
Ever.
the theater.
Nobody's ever laughed.
Yeah, dead
it-
silence here.
it,
Luckily, we save it. I mean, I think it's funny, but luckily we save it because this next.
Oh no, but no. I mean,
real
I'll
fast
I'll
and wonderful.
stand by that shit. I think
I
it's
know.
my favorite line in the movie, and it's true.
It's an
Whenever
on the
we
way
see it-
homer.
Yeah, whenever there's an audience, it stuns the whole crowd, I guess.
This was probably one of the most fun scenes.
God, this was fun.
But if you guys don't mind, I get a little deep. No, we missed that. Okay. This was my favorite scene in the whole film to shoot. Well, it's pretty easy to guess why. It's like block-offs of people acting, and really not much for me to do on my end. But I had an absolute fucking ball, and I think this day ranks among the top 5 best days of my life. No shit.
Nice.
Wow.
Because it was just like seeing you guys act, me not worried about shot lists, just locking the camera off, centering you up, and having you guys go. And it was just the best. It was definitely the best filmmaking on set day of my life. Good times.
Good look, Megan.
Chris finally got out of that fucking chair. How did that feel?
It's kind of liberating. I felt like I was an action hero for about 25 minutes.
This was, I believe, 1/8 of a page, and took us almost a full day to shoot.
Pretty
About half a
serious
day.
shoot.
But
A lot of camera movement.
yeah.
Bill really came at me on that one. He was kind of scary.
Yeah, I don't do the AD department any favors when I write action scenes because I pretty much want to cater it to whatever location we end up at. And so this was like Chris escapes, chase ensues, ends up in a closet, and it involved a lot of choreography and Steadicam stuff. So that put us way behind schedule. And this is another one. This is
the opposite of what Chris was just describing.
Yes.
Where this one, everybody laughs.
Yeah, and this is one of the
Except
few
for the
scenes
jerks.
that came off exactly as planned. Because I think, especially for the physical comedy, you have to shoot it as you intended. So you can't just like wing this.
Oh yeah.
And that is what wins over audiences every time. And of all this film's flaws, that's the one surefire success in
Laugh
every
getter.
screening. And that also, for me, I had nothing but fond memories shooting that. It was also liberating for me because that idea, a guy gets trapped in a closet, he's cornered, there are pursuers after him, and he finds a bunch of useful items in a closet and can't quite put two and two together and comes out and just, throws it on the ground and gets caught. Now, that was originally a spec commercial idea I had for MacGyver. And the tagline would be like, you need to watch more MacGyver, get your ass together.
I'm glad we got it instead of the MacGyver people.
Yeah.
This is
What band was that?
This is the Hard Ups.
Hard Ups, right?
Who I believe are broken up now, unfortunately, but they had Tim from the Turbo ACs in it, and Ethan, who was our art department guy on the short film Crab Walk.
Ethan Spears, great. Sandy and Lexi there were in the production office having sex.
Oh dear. Oof, gets him every time.
Gonzo, real Gonzo.
And also, I know you're far too humble to say this, so I'll say it for you. That was totally Macon Blair's line.
Oh,
Fed that to Sandy.
I would have said it. I like that one so much. I would have said that. and this is a song by my new mixtape, which is essentially our buddy Jarrett Nikolai from high school.
That's right.
Who also plays in Virginia Coalition.
Yeah, the Alexandria Connection. I forgot. This is our. Yeah, I forgot to introduce what the hell our background is. I assume everyone knows from recording all those special features.
We all grew up together. That's all
Yeah.
you need to know.
Yeah.
No, we're all from Alexandria, Virginia. We grew up making movies
It's so
together,
sad.
and we've never stopped doing it.
Macon's there. He's drinking milk water. It's literally just water with a bunch of milk in it. Really disgusting.
I felt that clear liquid would not read as something flammable and highly alcoholic, so I don't know why I thought milky water would be better at that job, but
Yeah.
too late now.
This is good, man. We can just sit here and shoot the shit, because really, we were just in a room with the camera, the same lighting setup. Nothing else new has been introduced, technically. I am Jeremy, and I'm also the director of photography, but I was pretty hands-off. We just kept the interior as is. We rearranged a few things. Again, there he is, Bill Tangrady, got us this location. Most of the props were there. And Christina Barth just filled in the gaps and did a few paint jobs here and there and just kicked ass all the way through.
Here we go. Watch this right here.
This is a true hot stab.
Yeah! Real needle going into real knuckles. That's Bill Lacey because he's made out of ice water. And we pulled the same thing on my arm in a second here too. Unfortunately, I had a tourniquet on my arm for a couple of minutes.
A doctor's hand. It's not actually Macon's there.
Yes, yeah. The hand on the right hand side of the screen is a doctor's hand doing that because having a doctor on the set makes this okay. But unfortunately, when they took the tourniquet off after injecting all this saline 2, maybe 3 times into my arm, it passed me out. And then conscientious Kate Berry said, our producer, Kate Berry, our line producer, excuse me, that got to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
So basically, you're a big puss and you passed out.
We lost about half a day almost. Well, we got some stuff back.
No, we called it quits because I felt so fucking dumb.
Yeah, we felt pretty bad that day.
And Mark Vives, who edited a lot of our special features, was my stand-in, if I remember correctly, right?
Yes, he was, Macon. But it was something we decided to do. I think definitely Chris, myself, Macon, we were all like, we got to do real needles. You understand? We have to do it because it's like you get that reaction from the audience. It creeps everyone out, man. People will cringe. It's it helps the atmosphere and really anchors it with like this nasty, real sense.
Because you can tell.
You can totally tell, and everyone can tell, and everyone winces and gasps when it comes on. But when you passed out, you were cool, you got up, but we, basically not even for insurance-wise, just because like I don't want to be a total dick-wise, we forced you to go to the hospital, and the vibe was so like bad. It wasn't like negative, just like, wow, Jeremy. I called the day half day. We just went home and rested. But,
Who's next? Who's fucking next?
But I really regretted doing it. I thought it was such a dumb like. I can't
was
believe.
a strong advocate of that, I have to admit. So
I was too, man.
Sometimes Gonzo is stupid.
Yeah, but now like okay, so yeah, we lost half a day. But now looking back and seeing it with audiences, it works every time. It freaks people out and it really helps. So I'm glad Macon passed out.
I also got to point out that during some of those shots when Bill is all about like Paul's pussy is this and that, Bill Tangretti's parents had come to the set that day and they were sitting directly behind the camera watching us while take after take of like Paul's clitoris and just nasty, and it was like the whole movie's not like this.
Well, it's a weird thing. I'm 31 now, and I still have problems with my parents seeing this sort of naughty shit. Yeah. And this was this whole film was like half like a confessional. Like, not that we do this in our spare time when we're like off on our own abandoned warehouses, but
I saw you last Saturday with that sodium amytal.
Yeah, but like it does get a little naughty, and it was fun. It was sort of like cathartic to do it, but it always is creepy. We did at the Maryland Film Festival, the closest film festival to date where Murder Party is screened to our hometown. We got a lot of parents that came up, made the trip, and it was pretty excruciating. But they've all been very supportive.
I kind of hope that just the fact that it got sold, it can be, success, that will kind of blank out the fact that the content is so reprehensible in some parts by their standards.
But I think, we have this sort of reverence for them. Like, we always think, much like, in the punk rock teenage years, like, you don't understand, but they totally understand. And they'd love it now because, my
we don't
parents
live
are
in
retired.
their houses anymore.
And they like this sort of shit just the same as we do.
This is Jeremy's Breakfast Club shout-out scene.
Now, the preceding shot series, when they're injecting and saying all the puns, that shot list was ripped off almost shot for shot from Breakfast Club. And I watched Rope, After Hours, and I dissected both those movies before embarking on this one, scene for scene, just to see how could Hitchcock, have just like two dudes in a room with a couple of guests for the entire movie on 8 reels of film, and how did Scorsese really sort of distill like the awesome atmosphere of New York After Hours, and I even do a couple references to those films.
Got to point those out when.
Well, I think one of them didn't make it in, and one of them is just it had already passed. It's the Death by Paper Mache.
Oh yeah. The movie with that guy.
Yeah, and this scene I'll stand by the scene, but it's definitely love it or hate it. It's by and large people's favorite scene in the movie, or their least favorite scene in the movie. But this is where we finally got to know our characters before we kill them off. Mm. I think it's vital to the film, and I'm glad we stuck with it and didn't cut it down.
Also, a lot of what people are saying in the scene are, Jeremy, once again, is good about coming to the actors and saying, come up with some, embarrassing truths about yourself. And so a lot of this is stuff we either made up or things that are very closely based on things that have actually happened to us.
It's all pretty much true except Macon. Macon's full of shit, but it's really funny.
This is actually my favorite one.
Yeah. And that came up. Was that an onset thing, the popsicle stick?
What?
No.
Oh, they just dressed it there.
I brought it.
Yeah.
Let me get this. Hello?
Jeremy's blown up.
Yes. Who's this?
I was kind of insistent on...
I'm very good, sir. How are you?
Being very clear that Macon loves Lexi. I think I might have overdone it, but
I think it works pretty good.
who is he talking to?
I don't know.
Fuck it, let's do it. Hey, let me call you. Let me talk to you tomorrow. I'm doing the commentary, but that's good news. Now we're jazzed.
Jeremy's big time.
Shall
Saving
do.
Private Ryan Part 2.
Awesome. Thanks so much, man.
Straight to DVD.
Woo! We got theatrical. Right
Oh,
now.
shit?
I'm like joking.
Who was that?
It's not a lot, but it's at
the distributor.
it's at the Sunshine.
Hey,
All right, man.
That's fucking great.
Hey.
Fuck this. Let's go party. Can we?
Fuck yeah.
This movie's stupid.
Let's get an
outta
engineer to
here.
take over. Adam, you want to take over this? We're gonna go party.
Oh, nice. Wait, so, well, we'll talk about that later.
Anyway, so yeah.
Okay, cringe moment.
Here we
cringe
go.
warning.
Yeah, this is a cringe warning.
And bomb.
Boom!
Whoa!
Dropping that bomb. No, I believe in diversity in film, and I felt like, man, this is yet another film with a bunch of honkies in a room talking, and although we will kill them eventually,
We still have to hang out with
I love
that.
yeah, and it's fun because like this crew, well, at least speaking on my own behalf, I love the characters just prior to this, and this reminds you like, yeah, but they're kind of shitheads, and I remember we had some back and forth about that, the N bomb,
Oh, yeah.
but we haven't gotten any comments about that.
No.
I think it's because we're uptight and we're white. Oh, here we go.
All true.
This is largely true. I was actually at my college roommate Mike Ford's wedding. Mike, shout out. Yeah, I was running late for the wedding, and I did indeed dump myself in a stuck elevator. I was there for like a half an hour, and then I went down to the. Just what I'm saying. I guess I'm just talking over it now.
Enough about you, Chris.
Is The Big Chill actually your favorite soundtrack?
No, but it's pretty good.
It is good.
I love the shot, man. I didn't get to do many of these long, brooding dolly shots. I kind of more formal, and this was take 6 or 7.
I think 6.
This is one of the. I think this is the only scene in the movie, or shot rather. It's your biggest dialogue scene, and we actually worked on it a little bit.
Yeah.
We did 7 takes total. At 4, it started to get really good, and we had to choose between, I think, 4, 5, and 7. And I commend you. I know you were very worried about this scene.
I still am.
I think it's crucial because it's like the one time you really, beyond his physical running around and stuff, that you get to hang out with just Chris and know about him. Pretty good. This is Good Times by Thieves and Liars.
This whole soundtrack is really
Excellent
pretty
band
fantastic.
out of San Diego.
Awesome deadpan. And Bill Tangradi is an amazing actor, but for this film, it was like, look, man, seriously, deadpan. That's all you do.
No expression.
And he got stone cold on that ass, and it works
scary
really well.
as hell to me, yeah. Actually, on set, he didn't often break that character, so you'd walk up and try to talk to him about something, and it kind of
And he'd
creep you
have
out.
that freaky accent, and I can't hang out with you. That's weird.
This look is
I
one
love
of my,
this look
one of my
right here.
favorites.
Yeah, this is priceless.
What?
Is that a fake
Okay.
pumpkin? What?
So
No.
delicate, so doughy eyes.
I hate that pumpkin. Yeah. That pumpkin drove me nuts because it was fake. That's a cockroach that was already dead.
We did not kill
For-
any bugs in the
For all
making
you
of this
activists. I remember I kept making like, look, more moonshine on the costume. We had to really drive it home.
Make sure they know.
film. That was a great Mark Baroza, or maybe I don't know whose idea it was, but like the cut to the dog outside just for
Yeah.
a sad few seconds.
And actually, you mentioned Mark Rosa. This is where he really had to help us chop this shit up. This is where the style went out the window. We just kind of shooting scenes. Some actors were there some days, not the other days. So it was a really chopped together sequence. And we should call Sandy for this. I'm gonna call Sandy.
Call him. Bill was actually painting, while you're calling, Bill was actually painting a really nice image there that I don't know, how come we never saw it? I don't know why. For some reason we never saw it, but
Yeah,
Bill's a talented painter.
He's an amazing artist, yeah. But He shirks his talent.
Now, just for the heads up on this scene, this was a long improv of those guys criticizing Williams' painting. And it was so frustrating, and everybody was so tired, and nobody was on, that at one point Jeremy actually left set. And I was hanging out in the production office, and he walked in giggling, and I said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "They're shooting this scene, and it's so off the rails."
Oh, fuck this. I can't work the phone.
I think Macon's really pretty awesome in this scene. Very, very believable.
Yeah, in addition to loving Lexi, I was like, I want to do one or two things that makes him nice. And Jeremy let me.
You are the nicest character outside of Sky.
I was going to say second to
early,
Sky, yeah.
You're the one that we wouldn't mind to have live. But then there's him.
And then there's this one.
Hello?
Sandy, what's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, buddies, what's shaking?
What are you up to?
I'm watching a Treehouse of Horrors episode of The Simpsons.
Excellent. Yes.
I'm pretty stoked about that.
So we're doing the commentary, and we're at your improv scene, you know, where you have to say funny shit about Bill's painting.
Oh, and how's the commentary going so far, guys?
Oh, it's a train wreck.
Pretty bad.
Sweet. Well, hey, let me throw another car into this fuck up.
Yeah, so what was that like when I was basically putting the camera on a tripod and putting you in front of it and saying, be funny?
Oh, it was awesome. It was great. We, as you might be able to see or not, none of us were very funny. It was a good call on your part to make us keep doing it.
That's right.
For fucking ever.
Hey, man, what do you want? I mean, there's like 3 scenes of actual improv in the movie, and that was one of them. But, if you guys can't hold it down.
I mean, it took a true, only a real director would set that up and then walk away into another room.
Oh, it's true. During one take,
the scene was still going on.
Yeah, it was so unfunny. I just decided to leave camera while it was rolling and go to the production office and have some coffee. And I came back.
I will say this: doing that is actually funny, but
it's just part of the meltdown.
Trying our hardest. What can I say, dude? We were all kind of shot at that point, and
it was salvaged.
Put on blue sandwich looks pretty good.
But what's that?
There's just a commercial for a sandwich on TV. It looked delicious.
Awesome. Hey, so what do you got going on these days? Has your check come from Murder Party?
My check? My $1 check?
That's right.
No, you didn't even give me $1.
Sorry about that.
But you did give me that veal parmesan, so I guess it kind of evens out, I guess.
That's worth more
awesome,
than
man.
$1.
So, hey, we're going to get back to this, but thanks for chatting with us. Any parting words?
Thanks for having me. What did you just say?
We're going to go now. Any parting words?
No.
We love you, Sandy.
I guess not.
Well, you did a bang-up job, my friend. We'll get up with you real soon.
All right, buddy. Take it easy.
All right, cool. Checks in the mail. Sandy. He's back to landscaping now, and he's happier.
That's Burrell. She's the lead singer of Macon's brother's band.
What are they called?
East 100.
Out of Philly. They're really
100.
pretty fantastic. And she's really good. She was a good sport in this one.
That's right. So, again, here we are in the same location, the same lighting setup.
Well,
I got no ammo.
Well, he had his little thing about how much he hated David Fincher and let facts be laid bare. David Fincher is the fucking master.
That's right. that was a total reference to the fact that I wanted this film to look like a David Fincher film. And so Paul is referring to the... Oh, I can't drop that word.
Some of these back and forth arguments between Paul and Sandy, a lot of those were ADR, and if you can hear them, depending on how you're seeing the movie, what sort of system. It's
pretty funny.
pretty funny.
Yeah, remixed it. Actually, remixed it last go around.
The 8.4.
No, but they're now audible. All those shits are. So
They're
it's
funny. They're funny.
Sweet.
I think.
I
Yeah,
think
and,
they're funny
and
too.
those are mostly supposed to be heard off screen, like through this wall, but they were funny enough, and we needed some to stretch the time of the film out, the duration.
Also, in this scene, here we go.
Yeah.
We're strongly advocating, like with the needles, to actually light Macon's head on fire.
Yeah.
And trying to make that happen. And I was the bastard who was really cheering for that. But luckily, Kate Berry and reality kind of shut us down.
Not luckily. I
think it's
well,
for the
maybe
best.
luckily. I don't know.
Yeah, it could very well.
But again,
be
that's
luckily.
like
That's a whole nother
professional-
trip to the hospital right there.
Well, you get a professional in there, and then they have to abide by
Yeah.
professional rules. So it cuts both ways. They do a great job, but then they tell you can't set your face on fire. So, damn
And-
if you do.
but fuck if it was all on camera or not. Finally, something happened.
Yeah.
Thank you for that,
Asshole,
Macon.
stop talking.
So we set Macon on fire, and so now things are starting to heat up, and the score's kicking in.
I love that sound of the battery recharging on the.
Yep, some more Silence Lamb shit. The sketchbook that Paul's referring to was totally from Sandy Barnett. I was going back and forth on the phone with him during the development phase, just like trying to get an idea for his character, and he came up to visit me in Brooklyn, and he brought this book. He had this little like collages and ideas for his character, and I liked it so much. I was like, "That's going in the movie, man. That's fucking hilarious." And he kept filling in the blank pages and had a whole book of just hilarious notes and quotations and.
You'll actually see some close-ups of those
Yeah.
coming up, where if you have a freeze frame and the wherewithal to actually freeze the frame, it's rewarding.
Yeah, and Sandy, who plays Alexander, his character was completely, and the premise of the film was inspired by his experience living with me in an artist enclave in Brooklyn called Williamsburg, and it was really going through the gentrification process, and artists were coming in, and middle class families were moving out, and anyways, it was really kind of snooty art scene, and Sandy had punk rock credentials. He had tattoos and whatnot. Was a lead singer of a band, but didn't care to broadcast that. But was going up and down the main strip of Bedford Avenue trying to find a job as a fry cook or a prep chef, whatever. And these people would ask him during the course of the interview if he was an artist or a musician, and he said, "I'm here for the fry cook job." And these people were so pretentious they wouldn't hire anyone in the neighborhood unless they were an artist, even it was flipping eggs or burgers. And so the whole character was born out of that. Like, so what if this guy comes back, creates a persona, and becomes like the art guru? And there you have Alexander.
Deep-seated grudges come to life on film.
That's right.
I just want to give a shout out to Chris Connolly on when the dog ran over to the freezer. In the footage, he had a leash coming off of his collar, and Chris Connolly went in frame by frame and removed that with his technology. Here's the funny one.
The book in question.
Here we go. Where's the Miami Vice?
No, CSI Miami.
CSI Miami, rather.
Don't
There we go.
forget
The to-do
tonight,
list.
new CSI Miami.
Nihilism.
Also, get
Nihilism.
vitamins for my grandma.
That was I wish we could have shown like 6 or 8 pages from that notebook because they were like so hilarious, but we only had time. We had to story first. So here we are. After that big climax comes the anti-climax. It's back to one. People in a room talking.
Don't worry, it doesn't last.
Yeah, and this upcoming scene was important, and we had trouble. Bill Tangradi, who comes in. It's hard to. We had motivation problems. Like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I just come in to shoot, and the direction I finally gave to him when he comes in and starts blasting was, "You're coming in and you're ruining the movie." And it clicked with him, and he got it exactly. First take, just came in, ruined the movie.
There he goes.
He's so eager to do it. He's so ready to fucking inflict.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Yeah,
Stone
that's
Cold.
awesome.
Now Paul Goldblatt's going to show off a little bit of his special effects makeup
Yeah.
chops.
Not
More-
only that, but another Chris Connolly zinger here, where when Paul is leaning over trying to catch his brains, there was a blood tube that was visible in the footage, and Chris Connolly
Right
removed
here.
that right here. Oh,
But much like Sky, who had to get killed off quick to serve our production needs, Paul had to be the first to die in the second act climax because he was doing all the makeup effects for everyone else.
Those are some stupid shoes.
Yeah.
look at your stupid shit.
So-
There we go.
Yeah. So at this point, Paul's in the makeup room getting ready, and Mark Vives,
Here we go.
one of our ADs, was standing in for him. Oof. And Paul
The
really
wolf melt.
came through there.
Anthony Vieira, our sound mixer, had his daughter on set this day. She was 6 or 7, I believe. And this part made her cry. And I felt bad that she had to cry, but I felt good that we were maybe doing something right.
This was a crazy shoot. It was a 21-hour day of trying to kill everybody in the movie. Didn't quite get what I wanted here, but once again, we'll go. We've already exceeded our quota, but Dave Ellis, our Steadicam guy, filled in all the gaps, and
And Barossa fixed it up quite nice in editing.
absolutely, this is a tough one to see. This was a train wreck.
Yeah. We wanted a much more meaty and dramatic leg cut there.
The
Time.
the chainsaw effects is one of the ones we had to just throw by the wayside, but
Well,
it cuts
chainsaw,
together fine.
Not the next one.
Movie magic came through for us. This was her motif throughout the film is just this goddamn cell phone.
The cell phone, but this is also kind of Lexi's redemption. She's
Oh,
not
yeah.
such a coos after all. She's going to let this guy go, but too little, too late.
Oh right, and I think I was trying to dial Sandy when you guys are speaking, but yeah, your character Macon, the wolf melt as we call you, had redemption because you were the first to try and murder Chris, and so although you made that fatal choice there, you're destined to die. You experience regret, and so you kind of all the characters, redeem yourself.
This effect, we originally were going to have a jaw completely hanging off and blood spurting out, but time was not with us again.
Low communication breakdown there.
But he's dead, so who cares? Get
That's
rid
right.
of him.
That's Lexi's mother calling her on the phone, but it's hard to see, but that was our little mean-spirited.
Bill Lacey in
Detail.
this scene, he started just talking such dramatic and frightening filth that Jeremy had to ADR all of his lines because the real thing was just too much.
When he was doing his whole chop 'em up sequence, I was standing behind the facade right there with the rest of the crew, and everybody had their hands over their mouth, and we're just kind of looking at each other listening to him implode, and it was disgusting, and I'm not easily disgusted, and it was.
Yeah, it was.
I guess we were also trying to establish a little bit that this guy, this quiet, unassuming guy who'd been playing these incredibly violent video games the whole time. If you listen to video games, those are kind of, leading into this eventual snap that'll
Yeah.
prove that he's the true psychopath of the bunch.
Grand Theft Auto and rap music, man, it's all true.
It's all true. And Macon Blair, Chris, you were referring to the video game voiceover and sound effects. That was Macon's voice. What were we saying? And do it in the same voice?
Headshot! Double score!
Yeah.
But you had put it through filters. Anyways, here we get into some good action.
Yeah.
Finally.
This is cool. And finally, we're free of the location. This was as much like from the audience point of view as it was from the main character point of view. It's like, finally.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but we're shooting this in the second block of filming,
Yeah.
and we knew we wanted to chase down the hallway, and then Jeremy sees this conveyor belt thing, and he's like, we gotta get this. And
Yeah.
Matt Porterfield, our AD, is going bananas, like, we have to be out of this location. And
Pretty
Jeremy's
much,
just like,
yeah.
no, absolutely not. We're gonna
We didn't have full permission for the use of that
I don't
conveyor
think we
belt.
had any permission.
And-
There was no partial about it. It was
Yeah, I mean,
trespassing.
and I'm all
basically.
for on-set harmony, but this is one occasion where I had to fight and just say, I don't give a shit if the cops come, whatever. We're just gonna get this because we just needed it. The original exit from the warehouse had no
transition to the roof.
no transition, nothing he had to surmount. Like he just left and was on the roof. So this is not only works for us like spatially, it actually is a conveyor belt that leads up towards a roof, but it has some sort of punchline. When he sends Bill back down the conveyor belt, and really helped us give a proper exit to this whole location. We've devoted so much time as audience members and characters to this location. It's like you got to have a little icing on the cake and you get the hell out of there.
And the bit when Chris presses the reverse button and goes, and that was just such a great little bit of physical comedy that makes me.
Also,
Gives me a
for
chuckle.
a little shout out for Bill Lacey, that little pratfall he just took off the conveyor belt. He hit his ankle on the way down, and still to this day bears the wounds of that move. So
Yeah.
And this is the relief scene, and this is again for Chris and the audience. Like finally, first thing he does is just take a big old leak.
it's true though. I mean, if all these torture movies you're seeing, these people who are tied up for days and days, either they're pissing themselves, or as soon as they're out, they got to take care of some business.
Yeah.
Like 24.
This is a
When
great.
does he shit?
Yeah. 24 hours.
When he's off
Where's
camera.
the poop?
When it cuts to whatever the headquarters are.
I don't buy it.
I mean,
Squats in a bush.
he holds it in for the terrorists.
But
Gives him his angst.
oh, that
Where I
little,
need to
that
be,
little
where I
note
need
in
to
the
be.
score gets me. I love that little note in the score. One of my favorite parts of the whole film. When Macon falls. Rooftop, night exterior.
Fuck yeah.
Against the indie film rules, but we did it anyhow, and it helps. Of course, this is all the same location shot over and over and over.
That same jump over that
Yeah.
lip.
And
Ugh.
just to the right there, you can't see it on film, but there is a huge sinkhole in the roof, and if you get too close to it, you can slide down into this. I don't know what was under there, but I nearly lost myself into the sinkhole.
And this color correct was done at Nice Shoes in New York. They really, really helped us out and helped us up-res to high def and whatnot. So, but they came in and helped us creatively by making this one location seem just a little different from shot to shot. So, so far, no one's really called us out on having that recycling of the same, basically shot.
That we've
over
heard
and
of.
over.
And maybe people are going home like, in that one shot, they just.
Oh, and just for the record, this digital alarm gag was also in The Descent. And perhaps they may have released before we did, but we definitely shot that gag before.
By the same token, the electric chainsaw, this was way before Hostel 2 for us.
There we go.
So,
Oh no, man! That's always a pain in the ass. It's like when you're trying to get a leg up in the industry, you have all these great ideas and little gags, and it seems like something's working against you because whatever screenplay or treatment or gag you have will end up in a movie
right before yours.
right before yours. So this time, because we released theatrically at this Landman's Film Festival in January of '07, we actually officially beat them to the punch. Hostel 2, quit biting our style.
Eli Roth will be getting a bill from our attorneys. This is Night After Night from San Francisco that we were hearing in the background there. They're since broken up, but they were the first. That's a funny sight
And the
gag.
cell phone
Yeah,
costume,
cell phone
that's
gag.
Aaron Doherty. That's our costume and wardrobe person.
They were the
Toucan,
first band to get on board with the soundtrack. Very enthusiastic and awesome.
And that cell phone gag is one of my favorites because that was one of the few occurrences where I felt like a director in that I could say, no, I want a cell phone costume for this date, and someone went out and actually got it.
Got a cell phone costume.
Yeah. The rest
I
of
want
us was
a
like
lemon bun cake.
with non-carbonated cherry juice.
This party scene also just really highlights, I think, some of the great talents of Christina Barth, the set designer, and
Absolutely.
she just really went wild in here, and it was perfect. Just perfect.
Christina
I
Barth,
love that girl.
the
I don't know who
Brazilian
she is. I
badass.
love her.
She was the hardest working person on set by far, and day and night she'd stay long, painting sets alone. It was pathetic, but man, she really came through for us. And this soundtrack is awesome. Sarah Matarazzo.
Who is
came
also the
through.
DJ in the background in the movie.
That's
so-
right.
That's right.
TJ Bitecon, and
I don't remember.
to my
man.
shame, I forget the other guy's name, but
Sorry, we love you.
Satamala Records or something. Awesome. Okay, so this is the pink panty dropper scene. That's another sight gag. Worked pretty well, but like most of the film, scene was shot under duress, and we
Time
didn't quite
for
get
one
what we
take.
wanted. Yeah, we had it a little more choreographed, and I had a shot list, but that just came down to let's just shoot this twice and move on, no matter what.
That sign just went by for the bus people. That is a little shout out to a pseudo band that existed in high school between Ben Masensky, who is our grip on this film, and Alex Wires, an old friend.
That's right. Genius. This scene, I had to leave the room, man.
Jeremy's
Jeremy,
head
yeah.
exploded on this one. I forgot what
Fuck.
to do.
This was his breakdown.
That helps, but I really had a hard time shooting this. What?
A hard time.
No,
I lost track of what I was saying.
Yeah, no, but this day where we had to shoot all of that, and I wasn't prepared, I think I didn't have that many meltdowns. I think maybe 2, but
Oh shit, it's a star.
the night. Oh, Bosia, represent
Our truest star, Bosia,
Yeah,
Jeremy's college roommate.
he's my roommate from college. He's a slam poet, actor, writer, and he was kind enough to come in for a couple days and have this cameo as Cicero. And I said, Bo, bring your lamest sweater. And he did.
And he did.
And that makes a character. Mr. Marston, that's a reference to Nick Marston, who indeed started the whole murder party in-joke within our crew. So we had to give him some sort of shout-out. But no royalties.
Everybody dies.
That's right. Here comes badass. I think my biggest meltdown of the whole shoot was during this scene. I don't know why. It came together just fine, and I didn't need many shots, but I just kept doing take after take and just not knowing when we got it, and I just pretty much checked out, right, guys? I think, Chris, you walked with me and sort of helped me get through that. I know I wept in Sky's arms for
We
a
went
little
up
bit.
to the roof and had a hug. We hugged it out.
Yeah, it's too
And,
bad. But then the next day, which was the preceding the party scene, I was on
That was
my
great.
top game, and I
Yep.
actually was yelling at people, and I knew what I wanted, and that was a good comeback, if I don't say so myself.
On the radio that time is Untuck It by RPG, also from Richmond, Virginia,
That's right.
where Sandy and I lived for a couple of years.
Here's some more gruesome makeup, and again, this scene it's relatively seamless. It doesn't seem like it was tough to shoot, but it's all fabricated out of just like a random rooftop. We built that sort of trellis area, and we rigged the roof so when Macon fell off, it was an actual ledge where he would disappear behind. But that was a wall we built.
Yeah, Christina and her crew, once again, just
This is it. This is the moment of truth.
goodbye, Chris, you're dead.
And again, yes, this is where Macon's character finally comes into play. And
Fake wall.
that's right. That's
Oh.
a fake wall. Very complicated shot. Quite simple
Awesome.
in the end result. And here is once again our protagonist, Chris Sharp, is given the murder weapon. His arc is a flat line. All right, here we go. Chris Connolly hooking us up. Paul Goldblatt had supplied us with an awesome on-set makeup application and some pumping blood, but Chris Connolly went ahead and animated all the chainsaw effects there, the blade spinning, and that really, really sold the whole gag.
Horrifying face right here.
Yeah.
I was
Lacey.
fighting the editor to keep as many frames of that as
Yeah.
possible. It was like, I want to hang on it for like a minute and a half.
Because like the blood flowing over his shirt and just
Yeah.
his stillness is
Fucking gross. Shout out to Chris Sharp for being highly believable.
I figured that if you just chainsawed someone's face,
Wait, did he already say it?
you'd really be breathing heavily.
Did he already say I just wanted a party?
No.
Oh, okay.
But now they all know.
I think they know already.
But
That really hurt Bill Lacey's nose.
Yeah.
there we go.
And that was a Chris Sharp original line.
Brilliant
as our
performance.
most of his lines. I didn't give him any. I was like, just put the fucking gag on, man, and move your eyeballs around. But this is gross when he's chainsawing Bill and just wanted a party. All Chris Sharp. Sold the scene. Here we go. This is like our little critique of the
critiques.
art critiques.
That was Melanie on the right there. She was a friend of mine from college.
Yeah.
Singer. Very sweet.
The whole operation is the DIY style of just recruiting all your friends. Mike played the guy there with the headset on, the doorman. He's another guy from our day job that helped out and showed up for 2 days and got his cameo.
Oh, that's right. After we shot that, me and Bill and Mike went back to work after having not slept and just went right in, like, and our faces were all pink. Well, actually, Bill's face was, but
Thanks for talking over my awesome low-angle shot of Chris Sharp. You know, I can't even give myself a shout-out.
oh, go back.
We can't afford to go back.
This is Dusk for Dawn in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. I'm just moving on. Dusk for Dawn, Williamsburg, Brooklyn.
This area is now a fully developed park for the Williamsburg hipsters who want to go have picnics by the water. But I'm really glad we got a chance to archive that.
What,
Time for your medicine.
what line did I go over of yours?
No, it's a cool shot. I was just fucking with you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Here
I-
comes the cheese ball obligatory pill toss.
I don't want your medicine anymore.
We
That's
should have
man.
had a hot like electric guitar
That's
stab
right.
there.
We can just do it right now. Done. But yeah, this whole sequence, this again is the October 2005 shoot. The opening sequence of the film is all the real footage taken from Halloween season in Brooklyn, and this is a continuation of that shoot. We just slapped it on the end. This is the aftermath scene. I was told to cut it, and I refused. I love it. People said, you know, once the chainsaw's in the head, dude, your movie's over. And I said, I beg to differ.
That was an entirely CG dog.
How much did that cost?
33,000.
Yeah.
And William Lacey, that's Shondu Lawrence, our awesome extra. He showed up for a whole day just to give that little wave.
Cut
And,
down to that wave. He did a lot more than that, and he was
Yeah, well-
really pretty fantastic.
Yeah, he's a big supporter. He actually he drove up from like at least an hour away and showed up on set, and it was just
The
another
return.
Yep, supporting the scene.
So,
There we go.
shot that Sky Saunier took, proving that
Yeah.
indeed I work for the TEA.
Yeah, and little things like that. I mean, this is a totally grassroots production. So, getting a still that is supposed to be framed in the character's house, you know, that's a whole other production. To have like a unit go out and just take a photo of him and get the costume a day early, and it's crazy how much goes into just an 82-minute movie. And like the videotapes over on the TV there, that was like a half a day of deciding upon titles and whatnot. Yep, here we go.
We had to rent the cow, milk the cow, and fill it up in that carton.
Puff Snooty,
Back for round 2.
the big showdown.
I love
And-
that he blinks here.
That's right.
Got him.
This and another we had to
fuck with
really
this guy.
mine all the footage for the perfect
Yep.
shots, and Barossa came through once again.
This is the true victory for the character, not chainsawing someone's face, but recapturing the throne. And now he can take off his armor because the night's work is done.
Why didn't you take off your helmet earlier, or the rest of your armor earlier, for that matter?
Because a true knight does not take off his armor until the battle is won.
Also, it would have been a lot lamer.
And yeah, it wouldn't have been as stupid looking.
And here we go. The whole lesson of the film is To the kids out there, you don't deserve to watch TV until you get enough exercise. That's it. That's the arc of our character. It's all about the cat relinquishing the throne, knowing who's boss. And we're simple people.
And he got his fucking exercise too.
That's right. You could dig a lot deeper. There's some social commentary in here. If you dig for it, there's plenty. But for me, it's just about, watching TV and getting exercise.
This song, Full Moon, by Too Tight and Soft G, is destined to be perhaps the dance classic of 2007-2008.
The stealth dance pioneers of Philly. They're a menace and they're great.
That's right. Look at all these people. What did they do?
Holy shit, they came.
They made us look better.
It's the hipsters. There we go.
Did we pay them? Nuh-uh.
Hey, but you know what? Fuck it. We didn't pay ourselves.
Nuh-uh.
But the party people. It's amazing how long the credits are for such a simple movie. But
we also stretched them out because our movie was too short. So
that's true.
But we have hot songs to entertain you while it's happening. So stunts, good stunt work there.
And do we miss anything? Because I feel like we just rambled through the whole movie, and
I'm sure we've missed plenty.
It goes by. It's so quick, though.
It's a short movie.
It's a shorty.
That's true.
That's why you can watch it over and over again. And or buy 10 to 30 copies and hand them out to all your friends for a short little venture before you go out for the evening.
I think that's a good idea. I support that. I concur.
It's good for Halloween.
Yeah, if anything, this was a great introduction for us because as a director, I was terrified of doing anything halfway legit, and I knew I had an amazing cast at my disposal, but I still felt like let's go a little gonzo with a comedy. So it's a lot safer to put your foot out there and say fuck.
To put your foot out there and say, let me chop my foot off in case I'm wrong.
Let me put it in my mouth. I need to put my foot in my mouth.
Put your neck out there?
I knew I shouldn't drink beer during the commentary. I'm a lightweight.
He is a lightweight, it's true. Oh, also, going by where we edited at the Sandbox, Randy Acker there is a huge supporter of us, and a little shout out to him.
Randy was if you're watching this, then you probably at some point watched the making of documentary. Oh, no, wait, where was the shot of the big limo that came to our premiere after Slam?
Yeah, I got lost. It's on the cutting room floor, buddy.
Oh.
But it's awesome. And, let's see. What else should we discuss while our credits roll for the next, 14 minutes? Oh, yeah, CG Bats. We ran our script through this service called Hot Boys, run by these two guys out of Brooklyn. But, They loved the script, but they had just one comment. They wanted a lot more CG bats. But I recommend their services. Hot Boys, they really provide invaluable feedback.
After you went through all the trouble of generating the CG bats, how come you cut them out of the final cut? That doesn't. It seems
we
like
spent all our money on the CG dog.
Yep.
Well, the CG dog was expensive.
Woohoo! Dinner, dinner.
Here is the party. The murder party anthem.
Making you gave all the shout-outs, but here they are in the credits. See, you could have just saved it till right now.
Well, I saw Drunk Horse at Bottom of the Hill in San Francisco on the real millennium, not 1999 but 2000, and somehow I locked myself in a van.
Sweet spot. That's where we are right now.
Sweet spot in the
Right
house.
in Sweet spot. And not Eli, but the other guy, Adam, is actually doing all this tech shit.
Yeah. Eli just phones it in. You know how he does.
Eli's got a baby. Eli's got a new infant. He's got to go feed the new infant.
Can we talk about pumpkins and how hard they are to get in May?
Yeah. Pumpkins are very difficult in May.
But there's one guy out in California who grows pumpkins for horror movies that shoot in the summer. And we found out that the long way, the hard way.
Let's give a big holler to John Swafford.
Everybody
at iPatch,
But John is the only person outside of ourselves and our family that invested in the movie.
That's true.
Unlike others, like this guy named Anish, who was really helping us along, shepherding her project from a $100,000 budget to a $200,000
I think
budget.
I heard of that guy, but he's like old. Like
He's a mumblecore guy.
He made some movie called Hannah Takes the
I don't even know
Elevator.
what it's called. Party's over, gentlemen. It's been a pleasure. It's been a train wreck.
We're
That's
done.
fucking
I
it.
wet my pants.